So the financial crime trends I'm seeing and anticipating for 23 are going to be centred around really money laundering risks. It's always an issue, but it's getting more and more complex in terms of the issues that not just the financial sector by way of banks, but the largest parts of the industry, so the asset managers, investment managers, are going to have to look at these issues. There's more and more data that's coming through, more transaction monitoring, and it's a perennial area that the FCA are focusing on in terms of what are the controls that companies have. Invariably, these institutions have great controls, but they don't necessarily use the information they're getting from these controls to the best of their ability. And we find time and time again that where issues arise, it's through the gaps in their knowledge or not using the data they have to properly inform themselves because of time constraints or other resourcing issues. Other areas that I think are going to be coming up more and more again is fraud. Obviously, we're going into a recession. We've had COVID. Issues around fraud are going to be coming out. We'll have had companies who have been massaging their accounts. The impact on that for banks and financial institutions is they need to ensure that the data they're being given by their customers is fair and accurate, especially in relation to any lending and credit that they'll be giving. So we can expect to see more gaps around financial reporting and issues in that space. We can also see issues coming up from banks in relation to the obligations they have on the victims of crime. This is going to become more costly for them, and the movement certainly is from the government is that the banks and the financial institutions make sure that individuals are recompensed and reimbursed where those frauds occur. I think what they need to do is they often have the right kit and the right controls. It's analysing the information they have in the best way. That's where we see the problems, that they do have a good policy, they do have controls, but they're not talking to each other and they're not spending the time to kick the tires and understand what that information is telling them. Too often, people are overworked and under-resourced. And so I think they need to get smarter in how they use the management information they have and the data. And if they do that, then that is the best way forward. Yes, there will be times where you can use tech to help you and support you, and you must do, but let's make sure you understand what you have in front of you to start with. If you do that well and strongly, you're going a long way towards ensuring that you have adequate controls to prevent financial crime. I think what we see here is a great sort of blend of different skill sets coming to the sector on how to fight financial crime. So we've had a good blend really of panel talks, keynote speakers, and some breakaway chats with individuals. But I think for me, importantly, it's seeing the tech side, the compliance side, and the professionals, those on the front office side, having to deal with this, as well as stepping back as a lawyer to understand how that integrates into a full system of controls to protect institutions. I think it's important for our institution, Dechert, to be here today because as a leading law firm in this area of financial crime, it's right that we integrate with those compliance professionals who are fighting financial crime day in, day out. We invariably get brought in at the end when things go wrong. But oftentimes, and more importantly, it's time for firms to make sure that they have the right compliance controls in place. So working together to understand what proactive work is being done to prevent the crime certainly helps us afterwards to understand why these gaps have occurred and to investigate and resolve matters in the best way, as well as providing ultimately a holistic solution with remediation and lessons learned in close collaboration with those compliance professionals at this event today.